So our next speaker, like John Whalen said, is a man who exudes extreme enthusiasm, and I can't think of a better person to come up and help me thank the donors from our past and also our future donors, and also recognize our trustees. Tom Hebl.
Thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca is just one of a long line of great presidents that we've had for the last 10 years. And as Kip said in the video, who knows where we're going to go, but we certainly are on a great footing. You heard from Ollie Berge. Ollie, I'm sorry you got that traffic ticket. Why don't you see me? We'll see if we can do something about that. Mike, yours is a program that we talk a little bit about emotional, and you know, I know some of the things we do are life-changing, and some of the grants we give, and there's some grants that will remain with me the rest of my life, the effect that it had on children. And so I think it gets our trustees all kind of excited hearing from you today and seeing what we do. As far as 7 o'clock in the morning, I think my wife is probably happy that I get up once a month at 7 o'clock, get out of the house. So that is, that's here. We're here today to do a couple things. One is certainly to recognize the 10 years of Sun Prairie Education Foundation. You know, but more importantly, the 17 years that Tim Culver has affected the students and the community, the city, our reputation in the education environment. But to start off, I'm just going to talk a little bit about our trustees. Our trustees, of course, Rebecca is our president, Rainey Briggs. Why don't you stand when I call your name? Rainey Briggs, Chris Swenson, Bob Hilby, Bill Wambach, Nancy Everson, Ollie Berge, Debbie Fox-Schrader, Shelby Veniga, T. Jackson, Kristen Wilkinson, Chris Franks, Kip Culverson, Katie Helsted, Pete Simon, Terry Trudell, Pete Fry, Jim McCourt, and Jeff Tubbs. Would you all stand, please? Let's give them a hand. And those in the crowd that are past members of the trustees board, will you please stand? And I know that includes Rita Tubbs and Pat. Yes, yeah. There they are. Let's give them a hand. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your past and your continued work on the Sun Prairie Education Foundation. You know, the success of the foundation comes from our donors. And we have certain funds that we have set up that are dedicated to certain ideas that the donor wants to promote. And we have the Fritsch Science Fund, the Komorowski Music Fund, the Handel Baseball Fund, the Malcarrick Fund, the Conham Fund, the QBE and Matt Harms Fund, the Findor Fund, the Chase Steiner Fund, both for wrestling and gymnastics, and the Pat Downing Fund. As you know, we have, as John Whalen mentioned in the tape, we have naming rights. And just most recently, we had the Suckamel family. Ollie talked about the first grant that was ever given. Well, Carol Suckamel was the recipient of that grant, and her family generously just donated the naming rights for a schoolroom at the West Side School, so we're very happy about that. But we couldn't make it unless we have support from the students, and from the teachers, and the families, and from the business, and from the clubs, the Lion clubs, the Rotary clubs, the Exchange clubs, all the clubs that we've had that try to promote us. And I would be remiss is that one of the persons you heard on the tape was Chris Mertis. Chris was a past member of our trustees, but in Sun Prairie, if it isn't in the star, it didn't happen. So we really take our hat off to Chris Mertis and all he's done with the Star and publicizing Sun Prairie Education Foundation. You know, just to get personal for a moment, my family has a classroom in the high school here. And the saying on the classroom window, and hopefully you'll be able to make a tour and see some of them, it's very simple. It just says, it all started here. It really did start here. You know, I come from a large family. We didn't have many material things, but one thing that is the most democratic, and the small d that is schools. And if you go to schools, and if you work hard, and if you have great teachers, you can succeed. And our family owes a debt of gratitude to our forefathers and the people in Sun Prairie who cared about education. And you know, you people being here today, I know it's a small group, but you know what? It reminds me of the quote that Margaret Mead said, is that large groups of people don't change the world. It's small groups of dedicated people that are dedicated to achieving a principle. And so the numbers that we have here are the important people. And I just want to say thank you for taking this Sunday afternoon and for being here. I think it's very important for you to be here to show the commitment that you've made to Sun Prairie and education. And you know, Sun Prairie, I mean, I'm a lifelong resident of Sun Prairie. People come to Sun Prairie for our schools. Our schools are next to, nobody can achieve what we have achieved. You know, we're going to talk about Tim Culver in just a minute. But you know, the captain of the ship, when things go haywire, the captain gets blamed. You look at our school system, look at the jazz group today. I mean, my gosh, it's phenomenal. It's unheard of what they have achieved. And you know, whether it's academic or scholarship or athletic, the arts, band, chorus, jazz, Sun Prairie is unbelievable in the achievements that we have. And a lot of that blame has to go to Tim Culver's feet. It's really not blame, I'm just kidding. You know, Tim doesn't want to be here today. Tim is a shy individual. He doesn't like goodbyes. He doesn't like long, drawn-out things. But he's here today. You can see when he got those pens, I think he ran off the stage as well. But you know, today we're honoring him, and it reminds me of the old refrain that you don't know what you got until you lose them. And that's the way I feel today. It's amazing how fortunate that we have had Tim Culver for the last 17 years. It's a rarity in this environment. This era, it doesn't happen. And Tim has put together just the stories that you hear about. He takes an interest in education and getting people excited about teaching students. I know I'm in Rotary with him, and sometimes I just wish he would shut up. He's dealing with SPEF, Sun Prairie involved in children's education, Rice, Rotary involved in children's education. He's talking about adopting classrooms. He's talking about spending reading times in school. Every week he's got something going on. And you know what's so phenomenal about Tim? His bags are packed.